Headlight's pretty nasty. Since it's super nice outside right now, I'm going to go ahead and pop this headlight off, see if I can clean it up and get it painted so maybe the paint can dry about the time I'm done with these wheels and can put it back on. But to take it off, you just have 2 screws on both sides. And I took both of those out, and then the whole headlight assembly, or the headlight itself, will pop out. And you have one plug back there, and then you have 2 bolts that hold this whole housing on, and you can take that off. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, take this thing out and clean it real good, and see if we can sand it down real fast and get it painted. Alright, got the housing all cleaned up. I did it the same way I did the exhaust. Just hit it with the wire wheel, and so it's cleaned up, ready for a coat of paint. Alright, to take the headlight out of the ring, you have 4 little screws with these little lock nuts on the back of it, and you have to take the one adjuster out. Now, I took this one out and I counted the turns so I could roughly get it close to where it was, and then you should be able to lift your ring off of the headlight assembly, and mine was 58 turns of the screwdriver. So get it back roughly to where it's at, and then we can adjust it once it's on the bike. Alright, here's the beauty ring. It's all painted. Looks a lot better. So now we're going to put it back on the headlight assembly here. Alright, I hope the video is picking it up alright. So we need to line up the adjusters. Alright, so what we'll have to do is just line up the adjusters where they go. Get everything to sit back in here properly without scratching anything, hopefully. Alright, so the one adjuster runs up underneath. Hopefully you can see this okay. Gets the spring put back on it. And then the little plastic nut also. A screwdriver. Oops. A little cold out here this morning. My fingers aren't working right. Where did that go? So I'm just going to start it right now, and we're going to get these other pieces all lined up. They have the screws with these little pieces here that hold it in place. They kind of slide up underneath the frame. We're not going to tighten them all the way down, we're just going to snug them up just to kind of hold everything into place. These are a little harder to get to than the others. You just kind of have to force it to open up and line up. The spring pressure is pushing against it. mess up the beauty ring you just painted. Come on, line back up. So that's what you do, and you have to do that with all 4 of them. I'm not going to record all this because it will be just a lot of fighting with these little screws to get them in. So just work around it, take your time, and try not to mess up the ring you just painted. Alright, now we have the housing back together. We're going to go ahead and put it on the bike, and like I said, we'll have to adjust it once we get it on the bike and get a chance to get outside when it's dark out and line everything up. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the bike now. Alright, so if you've never done this before, plug your headlight back in, and then there's a little hook right up at the top here that you just hook your ring into, and then you can line up the screw holes here at the bottom and then just screw them in. Like I said, then we'll have to readjust this headlight. Once we get it in there, get everything locked in, and then we'll get the headlight all adjusted later on. So that's pretty much it. Just put these 2 screws in and you're done with the headlight for now until, like I said, then you have time to adjust it. But I think that's going to be it for the headlight. So let me get it tightened down and we'll take a look at this and see how everything looks. Alright, so we got the headlight back on. It's a little dusty just from putting it together, little fingerprints on it. But I think it looks so much better having that cleaned up and painted. Had the forks tube, I just cleaned them up a little bit while it was off with just some steel wool. So the bike's coming along, looking a lot better, getting some of the rusted things and some of the paint that was chipped off of certain areas painted. So it just takes a few things to make things look a lot nicer. Alright guys, the next thing I want to do is clean up these fork tubes. So I'm taking the fender off, and we're going to take the wheel off and the brake caliper also. Started taking these bolts out, and I noticed that somebody has replaced this bolt with a 13mm and the other 3 are 12s. So this front one has been replaced at one time, and it looks like it looks like it really wasn't the right thread and they just kind of forced it. So we're going to make sure that the 13 goes back in this one. It worked. It was loosening and tightening up, but it's very hard to get in and out. So we're going to remove this fender, and then we're going to remove the brake caliper. Then I'm going to lift the bike up so we can take the wheel off. I went ahead and broke this loose. It's a 19mm, and we broke the took the pin, that. Don't know why I can't think of it. Took that out. That was a 5mm, I believe, Allen. So we're going to take that out. We're going to clean all these up as well. You can see it has some rusty stuff down in there, so we're going to clean that up before we put it back on. I also wanted to check the front bearings on this bike. I think it's fine. It rides fine going down the road. So, but we'll check it while we have it off. All right. Got the front wheel off the bike, got it supported. So now we're going to clean up these fork tubes, kind of like we did the exhaust. I'm just going to wire wheel them off, all the paint off, and then we're going to paint them and try to make this front end look as nice as the rest of the bike. So we're going to do the same process I did on the exhaust. So I'm just going to wire wheel this off, so it'll be the same as I did before. Alright guys, so got the fork tubes cleaned up. I didn't go all the way up and hit the seals up here. I went as close as I could. That was already there. I think this chrome piece must have at some point in time caught that dust seal. So I got them all cleaned up. I'm going to go over them real easy with just some sandpaper just to knock a couple of the deep grooves out that the wire wheel caused. But the wire wheel removes the paint so much faster than sitting here sanding for an hour. So I'm just going to hit it real quick with some sandpaper and then hit it with some prep-all and get it ready to paint. Alright, got it all prepped, ready to go. I just went ahead and threw some painter's plastic over the bike that I had laying around, so just try to keep some of the overspray off of it. It shouldn't have too much overspray, it's just a little spray can. I do have the fan going behind me to try to suck some of the fumes out, and always use a respirator when you're doing this. So I'm just painting it with some simple spray paint. I'm going to hit it a couple times, put a couple good coats on it, so hopefully it will keep it from chipping too easily. Okay, got the forks painted. I put a little grease on the axle. The longer spacer goes on the right side. The shorter spacer goes on the left side. So now we're going to just slide it all back together. And I'm going to try not to touch the forks as much as possible. They should be dry by now, but it's a little cool out here, so they may still be a little tacky. So we're going to try to be careful and not to touch things. So I'm just going to slide this axle back through and check the torques and torque it down. Okay, while I had them off, I hit the brake caliper pins with a little bit of wire wheel, knocked some of the corrosion off of it. Now I'm going to put a little bit of grease back on the pins and then install the caliper. Alright guys, here's how it looks now after getting the forks cleaned, getting and repainted, getting the front wheel cleaned up, and then we painted the exhaust. So it's coming along, it's looking a lot better. There's a few things we still need to do, but to just clean it up and make it look a little bit nicer, I think it's going in the right direction. I think if the person would have done these few things before they sold it, they could have gotten a lot more money out of it. And you know, it's just a little bit of work. And oh yeah, and the front painted the headlight as well. So you know, just a little bit of work, and you know, you could make your bike look really nice, and if you're selling it, you could get more money for it, and just take a little bit of time. And also, if you just maintain your bike as you drive it, you know, you won't have to do so much work like I've had to do. So I think that's going to be it for now on this. This is just kind of, you know, doing a little video blog on fixing this bike up, getting it roadworthy, getting it ready to go. And, you know, if you were buying your first bike and you wanted to do it on a budget, this is, you know, how to do it. It's not a very expensive bike, and it's a great beginner's bike. So, you know, till next time, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Keep riding, ride safe. Talk to you later. Bye.